Hello. Before we dive into today's episode, a quick note for the high achieving woman. I've opened a few spots for a new one-on-one program called the Inner Oasis, where we work together on moving from burnout, insomnia, constant fatigue to getting more energy during the day and enjoying life more by using a unique blend of sound healing and Reiki. So if this is something you want support with, you can book a call at www.inneroasis.org or use the link in the description. Now, let's get into today's episode. Hi, Portia. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much for coming to Align and Thriving. I'm very happy to talk to you. Today, we're going to talk about your book called Hustle, Flow, or Let It Go.
Mhm.
Just to let you know, it really resonated with me because I think that I am, or will be in those three, different states, you know, hustling a lot, um, being in the flow because I feel good. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work out. I need to let it go. So we're going to talk about that.
That's
You
exactly
know,
right.
yeah, right.
You're right.
So yeah, let's talk about the book. What do you think that this book is especially needed right now?
I think that for me personally, it is helping me to remember what is important. It's
Mm-hmm.
helping me to find myself and to find the way forward. So I need to stabilize myself. I need to remember what gives me hope and courage. So I think for me personally, it's helping me just to function and thrive in these times. And it's helping other people to do that as well.
Mm. So yeah, because you talk about the cost of the hustle.
Yes.
And we live in America. A lot of people, that's how this country was built. I'm
Yes, it
hustling.
really was. I think that's our main export is the hustle.
I know, right? I know. So you talk about the cost of it. So what's are some of the hidden ways that constant striving impact our well-being?
Yes. So I think of the hustle as more expansive than, how fast we're going or how much we're doing. I also think about the impact of what we're doing leaves on us. And so if we are having to work all the time, the hustle is defined by how it leaves us feeling. How does it impact our relationships and our well-being? But the hustle can also be that you don't have the support that you need. You have a lack of resources. So sometimes the hustle isn't even a choice. It's a matter of survival and functioning in a society that perhaps doesn't see or value you. That's a
Yeah.
hustle as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel also nowadays a lot of people realize that, and a lot of people are looking for a way to release. I just became a sound healer, and I see a lot of people coming to my sound bath because they want to relax and get out of any burnout that they've been having. So I think it's a very good, it's a very positive thing that's happening right now. My husband works a lot also, and sometimes I think he doesn't know how to do anything else.
Yes.
He knows that he has to release and not being burned out, but it's just the way of living. It's just like
Yeah.
this. And so, your framework help people identify what to nurture and what to release. So how can someone begin recognizing the area in their life where flexibility is needed?
Yes. Yes. I think flexibility is key. And the first thing is to understand what's actually happening within us. That actually is something I deal with as well. Sometimes being busy is safety,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Growing up, staying focused on my studies meant safety from a lot of other dangers out there. And so now that I'm an adult, validation is safety. Let me keep doing the things that are validated and rewarded. I don't remember the last time somebody came around and validated and rewarded my rest. So the message I'm going to have is to keep producing. But also, even if the very act of doing it, even if it's just for me, there's that internal um, estimation of my worth through what I'm doing. Am I doing something that's productive right now? And so what I had to do is redefine productivity as producing a life. What kind of life am I proud of? And there are going to be times where I want to dive very hard into the work. But again, if it's getting to the point where it's affecting my health or my relationships, then I need to think about what am I doing outside of this? What could I do that's going to help replenish me, that might help me to recover some of the things that I need to move forward? If I'm not feeling very hopeful, if I'm feeling very stuck and I feel like I can't do anything, do something that allows me to experience awe or curiosity because that expands my possibilities. my idea of what's possible.
So this is something you're talking about like outside of work. So
Yeah,
doing something else
yeah.
than working, right?
Or even aspects of your work, because I'll give you this example. Right now, I'm on campus. I teach today, and I always make sure that I don't just teach. I really try to engage in community because there was a time where I was going through a severe depression, and I realized that it was the intentional relationships I had on campus that really, had a lot of meaning for me. And so even if it's just briefly, there's like 2 or 3 places I will drop by when I'm here. And so it's still work, but it's something that is meaningful to me.
So
And
being in contact with somebody
yeah,
in the
because
campus.
relationships is what I value. Some of us,
Hmm.
we need to think about like what gives me meaning, what gives me accomplishment, what makes me feel good. And so the satisfaction of getting a project done, frankly, for some of us, that might be the positive emotion that we experience. And so until we have other options, we're going to keep returning to that. Or we might have a job where we feel like if I take away my attention for 1 second, I'm not safe. Something's going to happen. I
Yes.
used to work with people who were therapists, and they would say, well, no, these were actually friends. And they would say, I always have a pretty heavy caseload because if I say no, maybe I won't have enough in the future.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
that safety was having a full caseload.
Yeah, this way you're sure that the future is always full of something. You're not gonna end up with anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
being
And we're
afraid
not
of.
doing it consciously, we're not trying to always be greedy, but there is this feeling that there's never enough, and if
Mhm.
something, then more is always better, right? Overdo it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better to have more than less, of course.
Yeah, so it really it's about thinking about when you think about work, what are the beliefs that you have? What are the patterns that you recognize? And understanding those didn't come from you. You internalize them from some past experience or something that you notice other people doing. We have a lot of work martyrs who set the tone of the culture, and no matter day to take a break, you're gonna align with them because you're like, "That's who's gonna be noticed at the end of the day," right?
Yeah,
So, there's a lot of factors going into that, but also for some of us, what we've been through, um, trauma response might be the reason why we are finding ourselves unable to separate from our work, and that's not our fault.
yeah, and many people know they burn out, but they still struggle to slow down.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very difficult for them to find a change, or
Mhm,
even if we're craving to balance.
yeah.
Sometimes I don't,
Well,
you don't know how to slow down.
because they didn't burn themselves out. So
Yes.
we're taking what is a systemic, phenomenon of, like, we have been told what is valuable is our labor and that we should maximize that production. And so that's a contract with society, right? You're doing something for other people. And then when you get to a point where you're burned out, somehow individually you're supposed to be able to fix that. When the entire problem was how you were functioning in relation to your job or your relationship or even me taking care of my illness. There's times where I feel like I'm only caring for, my illness. And I'm like, I can't risk being a professional patient. I have to slow this down. I have to prioritize what I'm doing because I can burn out on more than work. That's the ICD-9, classification as work, but you can burn out in relationships, you can burn out in
Yeah.
community work, you can burn out in caregiving, absolutely, parenting responsibilities, a friend who is like really,
Yeah.
always being right,
Yes.
asked to do things,
Yes.
and doesn't have the boundaries, right? Because they're gonna be shamed for them because culturally you don't have boundaries. So it goes on, but the idea that an individual is supposed to be able to upend all of these contracts and do what's best for them, we would have done that in the first place. So it's really a collective response that's needed and a collective questioning of why have we made this the chief, priority as a
Like,
culture?
I've been burned out by so many like tooth friends that I've been thinking I think about right now. It's really, you hang up the phone and you're dead. You cannot even do anything because they've been talking for an hour with their problems and they give you all their bad
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah, I used to be that friend, and I gotta tell you what happened is I got burned to a crisp, and I
Yeah,
loved them, but I really realized at one point, I can't be the problem solver and the peacekeeper, and me functioning as if this is my identity,
I know.
that's the part I do control. So maybe there's a lot of things that are, the responsibility of society, but the point of this book is to name first what do you control, and then as
Mm.
a collective, we can address the rest. But I had to decide that I was gonna take my interpretation of our shared culture into my own hands and do some things differently. So that meant sometimes when somebody would talk to me about something, I would say, um, I honestly asked someone one time, "Is this best for me or for a therapist?" And
Yes.
reminding them that that's not what I am. And the reason I got to do that, because it was hard to give myself permission to do this, but I realized one day that therapists are getting paid for 50 minutes. Y'all expect me to do this for free.
Yeah.
The time.
And more than 50 minutes
All the
sometimes.
time. I'm
Yeah,
on
all the
call.
time. Exactly. You're on call for
And
free.
you think I like it. And that's a problem because I've left you with that impression. So, you know what? Let me go pull myself off for a minute and talk to myself and then allow me to reintroduce myself. Because what I realized is that I didn't have and I still don't, honestly. I'm being very honest with you. I still don't have an accurate assessment of my capacity,
Mhm,
what I can afford to give. And so in
mhm.
my brain, sometime, I don't know, maybe after taking my ADHD meds, maybe a couple hours after, I'm every woman pops up on repeat in my head. And I'm just doing and moving and, oh, I got you. And I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then the problem is she retires at 2 o'clock every day. And so the rest of the day, I'm left with her contracts. And I'm like, wow, I've really been set up by myself, you know?
Oh my God, yes. I feel like I'm talking to myself.
Yeah, and that's the thing, we need community to recognize if this is
Yeah.
happening to me and this is happening to you and it's happening to so many other people that you know, this is not a conscious choice. This is being filtered through what are our beliefs of, being, um, through the lens of our gender, through the lens of our culture, our family, the society that we've been in. What are the messages that we have received about how we should govern ourselves?
Mhm.
That we should always be on top of things, that we can't afford to let anything slip, that no matter how much we do, it'll never be enough.
I know. Yeah,
And that's why we don't wanna get out of bed in the morning.
I know. That's why you need friends, a therapist, your mom, everybody, you need like you say, you need a community. Because
You
one
do?
person cannot take it on, on their own.
Right, and
So it's too
so
much.
I talk about in chapter 6, your support squad, and I start out really speaking to the strong individual who is used to taking everybody else's pain on, but
Yeah.
struggles to put their own pain into words and doesn't really have somewhere that they can go that they're gonna receive the same kind of love and support. And what I learned is when I got to that point, I just wanted to isolate. And that led to me not feeling hope. And that's something that I can't afford. So I've had to create a support squad of people that have been through similar things because that burden is wiped away when we remind each other, hey, you did this for me. I'm doing this for you. We're just taking turns. Right.
Yeah.
And I know who to call for what. And there's some people that I love and I just can't call them because I don't have capacity. But if I can reach out to 2 or 3 of you, I might get through because you're gonna allow me to be human and you're not gonna just tell me that I would figure it out or that I'm strong or that I always manage it because none of that makes me feel better. It just makes me feel alone.
Yeah. So your book is about your own story, and then you trying to to help people
Well,
with
I pepper in my
the
story
same
where
up.
it's helpful, but I
Yeah.
try not to make it a memoir because, people know themselves. And so in that chapter, I actually talk about the story of Chesley Christ, the, Miss USA, who, if I may talk about mental health, and okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Make sure I issue a trigger warning. I know that's
Mm,
important for people. Chesley
mhm.
Christ was a Miss USA, beautiful, phenomenal Black woman, who was also a lawyer, and she was relentlessly bullied when she won for being the oldest woman to be crowned in the contest.
Oh, sorry,
And
which year was that?
I don't know which year it was actually.
I mean, the 90s, 80s, or
Oh, no, no, no,
2000?
like 2000s, yeah.
2000, wow, okay.
Mhm. Yes, yes, but she was, I
Mm,
don't know, maybe like 28 or something, and she was very much bullied, and it was just like a microcosm of what she had gone throughout her entire life. But on the
28.
outside, she's beautiful, she's smart, she has it all, and
Mhm.
that incongruence is so hard. So, for a professional who's, "Well, I've made it out of some things, and I'm not where I came from, so now I'm being told that my privilege cancels out my pain, and I have nothing to complain about."
Mm,
So she really did fight to, um, support not only her own mental health, but that of other people. And in the end, she said, "This is too much." And her mother made it a point to make sure that her story got out. That was her last request. "Please put this story out." And it really
Mm.
helps people understand that you're not alone. You can be smart and driven and have the perception of having it all together and very much be falling apart inside.
Yeah.
And you're not immune to what people say and do. And you don't
Yeah.
have to be that strong. So taking a story like that is, to me, far more powerful than just talking about myself, because I want people to see themselves and to know that, wow, we're really setting each other up for failure by telling each other how strong we are. Like, we better rebrand this. Strength being courageous enough to say, "Hey, I'm man, I think the valley's on top of me. I think you better
Yeah.
come see about me."
Yeah. Yeah.
And to have boundaries with people who don't see us as human.
Mm. Yeah.
Who do
Because
I need to not talk to when I'm going through this? Who do I need to tell me, "Hey, sis, you do need to go talk to someone. I know you may not yeah, I know it may not be easy and I'll help you, but at the end of the day, we can't save each other. We gotta help each other."
yeah. I mean, if I known that like 20 years ago, there was so many people that would have said, you need to talk to someone, not to me. It's like, I
And,
cannot help you. I don't have I don't have the skills to help you.
the thing is,
I didn't study this.
I will tell you this, I really did struggle with having boundaries because I thought
Yeah,
boundaries were bad. I thought boundaries are mean. And I've learned that there's certain boundaries for certain situations. And so there are some people that, I will listen to and I'll let them unpack it a little bit. But here's the difference. I ask myself first, do I have emotional capacity for this?
exactly.
And that's what I'll try to be honest about. So it's not that it's bad that you're coming to me, because maybe you don't have somebody else to talk to. But I need to say, hey, actually, I love you and I want to be here for you, but this is what I can do right now, or this is what I can't do right now. And that's the part I think we were missing.
Yeah, my issue was that it was becoming repetitive and like
Yep,
a habit. Somebody
that's where
calling
the
you
boundary comes in.
every day, calling you every day with the same story. I was like,
Yep.
oh my god.
And you know what? You know what else helped me there was realizing the same people weren't there for me when it
Yeah,
turned around.
yeah,
That's when I realized, oh, this is so my accountability in this is that I am not investing in reciprocal friendships. I am wanting to be needed so badly that I am willing to gravitate towards anybody who needs me. And I'm calling that friendship.
also
So
because they see you as the strongest one, and that you don't really need their
well,
help.
and they don't think that. They wanna help you, but no one, like I just said, no one can save you, right? So, I can't expect my spouse or anybody to understand exactly what I need, but I try my best to advocate for myself, and I advocate widely, and that takes a lot of resourcefulness and a lot of grit, but I have to do it. And so for someone else who doesn't feel like they can do that, getting the support, saying, "Hey, let's do this together," you know? Let's learn about getting help, or let's talk about this technique and whether or not it works for us and what we need to change about it. But
Mhm.
a lot of what's going around our community right now is people just saying that therapy isn't helpful. And you find out, well, if you are extrapolating your experience or an experience you've never had onto everyone, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Because there's people out here that are doing the work that are helping, and we can help each other, but we need to understand what is appropriate and what is in our capacity. And then we need to communicate when that is being crossed.
Yeah, because in your book you encourage a personalized approach to well-being. Like,
Yes,
it's not one fit all.
correct. And that's
So
exactly it. It's you creating your own, defining
mm,
wellness for yourself. What does it look like for you through your identity, your lived experiences, what you need right now,
yeah.
right? So I expect it to be very different for everyone. But what I want people to know is I want them to identify what are the kinds of support that I welcome into my life. And frankly, what are some of the places I need to have either communication, a certain conversation, some boundaries, or let somebody go.
And about like I'm just thinking about the burnout again.
Yep.
Um, what else would be like the early warning signs for
Of
that?
burnout?
That someone's current space is not
Sure,
sustainable,
sure.
even
So,
before the burnout
yes.
becomes
So
obvious.
So stress, can be one time or it can be persistent and ongoing, right? And so burnout is a result of ongoing stress. And so it happens over time, and we notice 3 different things. First is the emotional exhaustion, right? And so you're just kinda dragging through life and you don't have it and, maybe you're feeling down, you're feeling fatigued even physically, right? You may not be depressed, and for a lot of us, we express depression differently anyway. We might still be doing all the things, but we're emotionally, you know,
Mhm.
burnt to a crisp. And then the next one is, you have an increased cynicism or yeah, okay, good,
Yes.
right? So the tolerance level for, what allows you to connect in a, genuine and caring, loving way with people that you actually do respect, right? Your colleagues and the people that you serve. And we look at people and we go, "Well, how did they get jaded? How did that happen?" Gradually, over time, right? And then, the last part is, lack of a personal sense of accomplishment. No
Mhm.
matter what I do, it's not enough. I can't even feel my accomplishment. I just have to keep going. And that's where you talk about, like, I'm not even gonna stop working because I can't feel there even if you tell me the job is done, it doesn't feel like it's done.
Mhm.
And I'll give you a personal example, in my life, after I got tenure, it was I think this is during the time of the COVID-19 pandemic. I kept working and saying, "When I go up for tenure." And my husband
Oh.
would always say, "You already have it." I said, "I can't feel it.
Oh.
I
Do you know
can't."
why?
Well, I can't feel it. For me, if I can't feel the safety in my nervous system, it doesn't matter what you tell me.
Mm.
And so I spent a lot of time, caring for my nervous system, my body, because if it tells me something's not safe, it's not safe, and I'm not gonna do it. And so I have to practice and have practices, like I said, that help me to feel
Mhm.
safer, stepping out of my comfort zone and being curious and risking growth and seeing the positive possibilities.
Mm.
So if I think that hustling is safety, I'm not gonna stop working. And it did take me a while, and now I realize, like, I had to come through this and find my own identity on the other side. I was never gonna wake up and look like everybody else. There's no look to this.
Mhm.
But going through that helped me to realize, I needed support, and that's where my diagnosis of autism and ADHD came from. It was going through the depression, after you do all of that, you can't do anything else. And, now I live differently because I realized that when I push too hard, I could end up in an autistic burnout, which is a completely
Mhm.
different. Yeah.
Okay, what is an autistic burnout?
So for people who are autistic, you really are so overstimulated and
Mm.
exhausted by everything that you've had to do to function in this world, and you're at a point where you can't just snap back.
Mhm.
And so for people who think that burnout is a lack of engagement and you just need to be more engaged in your job, you can't do that here. People might need extended rest, they might need care, they might need to change their world. For me, I have to set up a lot of systems that people never see that help me. How do I not forget that I need to do something because my brain isn't even listening to the signals of the world. It's just too overstimulated. But that gets perceived as you're not listening. You don't care. You don't respect my time. And we're trying as hard as we can. But we have very sensitive nervous systems and they are burned out. So the way that we move through the world has to be, for me personally, more gently and more slowly. And far fewer things have to matter to me. And that doesn't mean that I tune out the world. It means that I have to put the world into perspective. I
Mhm.
understand what's going on. What do I need to do today? What is the balance between me contributing to the collective and me stabilizing my own foundation? Because I can only sustainably show up for others if I'm showing up for myself.
Yeah. Did you figure out that by yourself, or did you get help from therapy
Oh,
and
yes, for
on
sure. For
time,
me, I it's therapy, it's medication. It
medication?
was years that led to us finally doing genetic testing and realizing that a lot of medications don't work effectively with me. So it really was a long-term approach. For me, fortunately, I have a job that allows me to organize my work in a way that works for me. That's a
Mm.
huge driver of burnout, not having autonomy, flexibility, a sense of control, having a manageable workload. Those are not individually determined things.
Mm,
And
mhm,
so for a lot of people, the answer is I need to find something that is more accommodating to my needs so I can be successful. So when I tell people about addressing needs in the workplace now, I say stop addressing everything in silos. Think about the holistic needs of the individual instead of expecting them to cut themselves into parcels and say, well, I need help with this over here and help with that over there. And remember that there is no normal. There is no the thing that's driving us all, up a wall is that we're all trying to strive to some standard that doesn't actually exist.
mm.
Because we are living in a society where we can see very clearly you can have it all and be miserable.
That's that's true.
And we don't feel safety in quote unquote enough, right? And
Mhm.
so if I'm doing something new, why am I doing this? Is it that I'm interested in it? Do I actually have the capacity to do it? What do I need to do? And my brain does not do well with that. You know, the
Yeah.
Eisenhower matrix? My brain doesn't understand important versus urgent. To
Oh,
it,
no,
it is
I don't know about that matrix, but I understand.
thank you for saying that. So you're supposed to be able to separate your life into like important, not important, urgent, not urgent. And I'm like, what do you mean? If it is urgent, it is important. And that's how I end up ignoring things that are very important because my brain is really driven by what's urgent. So I
Mm.
have to create urgency for myself and say, okay, well, you have to get up and take a shower because you've got to be on camera.
Oh,
It's important. It needs to be urgent.
yes.
But without driving myself, too hard because that would be the hustle. So
Yeah.
to think about this holistically, finding out what is the hustle in my life, what parts can I let go of, and what practices help to nurture flow. So that
Yeah.
even if I'm dealing with a difficult reality that I can't let go of, how can I care for myself within it? And then how can we care for each other as a collective?
And one question I was curious about, in your book, you talk about toxic wellness narrative. What is that, toxic wellness?
So, toxic wellness, I think of something I mean, really the word toxic is apropos because it's like if I do this over the long term, this is gonna make me sick. So, for example,
Mm.
diet culture, right? Being told 40 pounds ago that I was overweight
Oh,
led me
yes.
on
Yes.
decades of, every single diet known to man, and here we are,
Ah,
right?
yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was toxic. What
Yeah.
what I offer instead is personalized and also looking at what is not us. What is something that we've internalized from the world that gives us a standard that if we can't uphold it, we carry shame? And what would wellness look like if it did not do that? If
Mhm.
it's able to shed the shame in my life and meet me where I am and give me what I need. And so the book is about being able to think about that one piece at a time. When it comes
Mhm.
to my brain, it's very stressful dealing with autism and ADHD. It's very hard to accept ourselves sometimes. What I'm trying to sit with these days is the realization that my brain is and it needs, right? So I can notice patterns, but I don't have to shame myself for them.
Mhm.
I just need to understand what is it that I need to support myself to move forward.
Can you share an example, for instance, of someone who shifted from hustle to a more balanced lifestyle using
Sure.
the framework?
Sure, yes. Do you wanna look at a certain, part of wellness that is important to you, personal or professional?
Maybe somebody who introduced something new in their life, like maybe, I don't know, just go outside and walk, in nature, or instead of working like, 60 hours a week, or
So you're looking for someone to work a little bit less and have more balance or to spend more time in nature?
maybe someone maybe who gave too much to their family, for instance.
Okay. Oh, boy.
How can they
Alright.
balance that?
So
Because especially as women, we feel
right,
like we have to do
right.
everything, right?
Right, right. So I think the first part, naming the hustle, is really important because the
Yeah.
first thing that comes up for us when we try to change that is the resistance. No, I can't not do this. If I don't do this, this will happen, that will happen, right?
Mm.
And so years ago, when I was working in breast health awareness, I would meet women who would tell me, I don't want to get a mammogram because I can't afford to have cancer. I'm everything. I'm the glue in my family, and if I have breast cancer and I'm not here for them, everything's gonna fall apart. And so we had to acknowledge what was most important to them before we got to that part, right? So listening to what they really need support with, and then who are people in those spaces, and what kind of resources are we offering to help them through this so that we can get to a point where you feel safe getting this because now you understand that it's not necessarily a death sentence
Mhm.
and that the whole point of this is that early detection saves lives.
Yeah.
So the hustle is I'm just gonna not take care of my health and I'm gonna push through because I have to do everything for everybody. And then the flow is I gotta put myself first and care for myself. The day that I visited my grandmother in the hospital and realized that we needed to talk about her transition, I actually had a mammogram scheduled.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And so that day, full circle, I had to call and cancel because I needed to meet with her team and care about it, right?
Mhm.
But I gave myself a few weeks and it was like, okay, now you got to schedule that because situation is still going on and you got to care for you too.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say to them is that we're not looking for you to give up everything that you do for people. And we know that you're going to have some resistance, but it really does help if there's other people that you can do this with. If you can be in community and say, hey, we are both caring for, family members that have dementia. Let's help each other. You can call me when you've had a hard day, right? And we can talk about what kind of boundaries you need to enforce.
Mm.
Maybe you're not going to do everything that you think you could, and you are gonna get some flack for that, and you can call me when you do, and I got your back.
Yeah.
But we think that if we do everything people want us to, that they're gonna be happy, and most of us know that that's not the case.
Yeah. We can't give 100% to everybody. It's
No,
not.
but here's
We're
where
only human being.
this is where the book is very nuanced, and I wanna say this because the world is not. For some people, when they look at, "I've been giving everything to everyone," they do need to walk away. They are in a toxic
Mhm.
environment, they're in a toxic relationship. This is not about changing yourself so that you can continue to be in that, right? For some people, doing less is not possible because they're the only person, right? They're
Mhm.
not walking away from their children, right? And so I think that what the book offers is honoring and validating where they are and helping them to find resources
Mm.
and
Yeah.
people who understand, right? We have to do what we can with what we have. But too often, I think that we read books that just make us feel guilty for not having more convenient lives. And
That's
I
true.
don't want that to happen. So I want people to know no matter how impossible you think it is to do things differently, I just want you to take a breath to care for yourself and understand what your needs are and find community for yourself. Because there's other people that are going through the same thing that you are, and you don't have to be alone.
Well, it's funny because I exactly told the same thing to one of my friends who was going through something with her kid. And so we were talking about it on the phone. She was really sad. And I'm like, you know what? You need to talk to someone who's going through the same thing as you do. It could be like a Facebook group, or it could be therapy, it could be, but you need to talk to somebody who really understand what you're going through,
Yeah.
a community, for
Yeah.
your particular issue.
And I will say this, this is what I talk about in the last chapter is after we've helped ourselves and now we're ready to help everybody else and give them advice. It really is important to remember where people are. And so for
Mhm.
some people, that's not going to be an option right now. Right. And we have
Yeah.
to be okay with that. You don't have to do what I do. Right. And I
Hmm.
don't shut you out. There's very few situations where I really just have to shut people out of my life. Sometimes the nature of the relationship has to change. I want to share good times with you, but I can't do this part. I
Hmm.
can't give you the answer, right? I accept that this isn't something that you're ready to address. And, even if you disagree with it, you can accept that that's where they're at, right? And so sometimes people come around and they're, okay, well, you know what? I have a lot of students. I'll tell you this. I used to give students, the best of me and then understand that they may not get it for a decade.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so my question is to you, if this is how you know your capacity and what you're willing to give. What can you give without resentment?
That's a good one.
So whether it's money or time or emotional capacity, that is the negotiation with yourself. What can I give without resentment? What can I give without it punishing me?
It's hard to know right away, but yeah, after a
Oh,
while,
yeah, that's
you
not
know.
supposed to be an easy answer, but it
Mm,
creates a space for you to see your needs instead of just what the other person needs.
yeah.
A lot of us think that we are disrespecting the culture when we do things differently, but we also deserve to live in authenticity with ourselves, and so understanding what our values are and how that can come across. How can I be generous without exploiting myself or allowing myself to be exploited? It's not perfect, but it's a journey.
I know, right?
It's a journey, but it's showing up for
Yeah,
you first. Showing up for
definitely.
you first.
Well, do you want to add anything else? Maybe something I didn't ask you?
Sure. I always like to tell people if I can give you one thing from this time, it is to know that you are worthy, period. You
Yeah.
are worthy, period. Nothing that you have done or have been given or has been taken from you can change that. And on the basis of that, we are all worthy of being cared for. So I want to invite you to just take this in as an invitation to be poured into. The book is really just an offering. Most of the sections
Mhm.
are 3 to 5 pages, so you don't have to sit there and go through it and make the whole plan overnight. Find the place that speaks to you, choose your
Yeah.
own adventure,
Mhm.
and just know that there's never gonna be an expectation that you be anything other than what you are in this moment.
Thank you, Portia. So the book is called Hustle, Flow, or Let It Go, and we can find it on Amazon, I guess.
Yes, it is available at all major retailers. I was just gonna give the full title. The subtitle is, A Guide to
Sorry.
Shade-Free Wellness that honors your reality and gives you life.
Oh,
So
okay. I see that.
yes,
Great.
and people can go to my website and get a free excerpt, whether they want a print version or audio. Go to portiapreston.com. So that's PortiaPreston. And then all of my social media, just add doctor to that. So it's DrPortiaPreston. And I look forward to sharing more of my journey, encouraging you in yours, and reminding you that you are worthy, period.
Mhm. Yeah. I will put, of course, all this information in the show notes so
Thank you.
people, can just click on any link they need and if they want to
Mhm.
contact you on social media, ask you question, they will be able to do it.
I look
Thank
forward.
you. Yeah, thank you very much, Pasha, for coming. And I know you're very busy. You're a very busy teacher right now. You're on campus. So I'm going to let you go back to your lunch.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for coming and talking, on
It was
online
an
and
honor.
Friday.
I appreciate you,
Yeah.
and, I look forward to, even just witnessing you and how you're working this into your life, so I welcome you to continue to read.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Mm.
Bye.
Bye.